One thing I've noticed about most zombie movies is that the infected often feel less like characters and more like moving obstacles, something to run from rather than something that drives real character growth. 28 Days Later follows that formula in many ways. The story largely revolves around the characters moving from one place to another, consistently on the run trying to survive. Structurally, it hits many of the familiar beats of the genre, but where this movie succeeds is in how it makes those familiar elements feel just different enough to stand out. Instead of traditional zombies, the infected here are victims of a virus. A medical experiment involved infected monkeys that spirals out of control. They're not undead in the classic sense, but they behave similarly enough to give the film that zombie movie tension while still feeling grounded in a more realistic premise. The film also leans into a theme we've seen before, but that still works when done well. The idea that humanity can be just as dangerous as the monsters. It's not a new concept, but it's handled effectively enough here to keep the story engaging. What impressed me most, though, is that this movie accomplished with a relatively low budget. It doesn't rely on spectacle or massive set pieces. Instead, it uses atmosphere, pacing, and a sense of isolation to create tension, and that works in its favor. Another interesting element is the main character's arc. He starts as someone relatively innocent, trying to do the right thing, but gradually realizes that survival sometimes requires making difficult and morally questionable choices. That shift isn't groundbreaking, nor it is something original, but it is one of the stronger aspects of the film. Setting the outbreak in the UK also gives the movie a slightly different perspective compared to the many American-centered outbreak stories. It's a small change, but it helps the film establish its own identity. Overall, though, this is still very much a classic zombie-style survival story. It's well executed, but it doesn't reinvent the genre. If you're looking for something deeply original, this probably isn't it. But if you want a straightforward zombie movie that hits the expected beats and doesn't overcomplicate things, it does that well. Samurai Reviews gives 28 Days Later a 5 out of 10. A solid, straightforward zombie movies, competently made but not particularly memorable. Whether it's worth watching really depends on how much you enjoy the genre. This is Samurai Reviews, where we give you honest takes and cut through the noise of modern cinema.